Hello everyone. Just wanted to kind of go through the Dune Creator that's out, so you can kind of pre-cast your character for the Dune Awakening game that's going to be released in May 20th, or 5 days earlier if you bought the early access. And also kind of go over my things I'm not exactly a fan of on this. First off, I love the fact that they're actually doing the ability for you to create your character ahead of time. A lot of games, I really wish that, because that way you're not wasting a bunch of time trying to create your character at go live day, or you're wasting a bunch, the first initial hours of creating or the game going live that you can actually play. So that part I really do like. As we'll see a little bit later, there's a couple of things that I'm not a fan of with this creator that I wish they would have changed, but I think I might have figured a way around it. And basically what that is when you get to the end, you need to choose which class you are. And as we get closer to the launch, maybe you change your mind on what class you want to do, and you don't really have the opportunity to grab that cached version of your character and make it a different starting class. And that's not a major thing, because you can get all classes later on, you get all the abilities, but that first initial setup might make or break your beginning experience for it. So with that said, we'll go ahead and create one, and I'll kind of show you something I found that might allow us to get around that problem. So you get some predetermined presets right here that you can choose: male, female, different kind of starting points. You have all your height adjustments in here. PvP players are probably going to go for the smallest one, just for the hitbox. I don't know if that's really a thing in Dune yet, but it's usually the mindset of them. So you can do your arm thickness and all that, skin tones, however you like that kind of a thing. This is just kind of like that patchiness where you're like, but I particularly don't like that, and I don't even know how to really pronounce that name, but we'll go from there. Freckles, just the voices, but they aren't really saying a whole lot for you to really hear other than a quick grunt, so it doesn't really matter to me. Then we get into more specific options for like the face, the age of who you whatnot. If you click on the notice that there's a little icon for more filters. It means you can do some more things to it and get you going. Eye color, you get to choose whatever eye color you want. Scarlet. Oh, that's the whiteness of your eyes. So we're good there. Different, all kinds of different options in there, and those all seem fairly basic, nothing too major. Hairstyle, hair colors, and whatnot. Eyebrows, they don't seem to really match too well. Like if you try to go into like the reds, you don't really get a good color match for your hair color, which is just really odd to me that they're doing that. So you're probably going to end up with either a brighter or darker version of what hair color you choose. Not really into the tattoos myself or scarring. Do some makeup on here. Let's just go that. And then you can do the strength of it. You kind of see how it just like completely changes quite a bit by the strength that you're adding for the eye coloring and the liner as well. You can kind of get a little bit. Everything's pretty much sliders. There's no like true individualism on this. You don't get to like do like a percentage of a slider. It's literally just marks in this. So you are going to be somewhat looking like everybody else around you, but you're also going to have armor on, so it probably doesn't matter too much. I do like the fact that they added the metallic to the lips and lip gloss to the makeup. That's pretty interesting looking. You can get a little bit more to what you're looking for in there. So that's pretty nice. So here's we're just going to go ahead and accept this one. Here's where you're going to get into where you're choosing
Have they told
what
you
house
what
you're
I am?
with.
Then I will sift your words. Where were you born?
So you got to start with this. It doesn't really, none of this really seems to matter, and nobody's really telling us what these options are. The only thing I think it is just this emotes is the only thing that's kind of really different, like what kind of emotes you're gonna have. But I would assume you can get all the emotes later on.
The machine world. They
that
skirt
one.
dangerously close to. The order of the Imperium is rooted
And then,
in the
once again, it's a dialogue trait, just how you speak, I guess, in game, and how you want to, what have you. If you want to be basically a commoner, a nobility, or a citizen, basically. We'll go for nobility.
Did you give bad? You had
and
a
here's
mentor
where
in your
you have to
trained
pick, and I
by
really
one
wish
of
they
the
didn't have
schools.
this in here. I wish that you would just be able to get your character how you want it to look, and then the day of launch you can just pick that image and then choose which one you want to be at that point. That way, if you want to play all four for whatever reason, I don't think it's really wise, but if you want to play all four, you can have the same exact character. You can mix and match it. You can edit it. They don't have the ability to edit this, which is another thing I think this is missing. And as far as which class I think is best, I'll go through another video on that to figure out, you know, which one I think is going to be the best starting one. But just for now, we're going to pick Swordmaster just because this is the top. No particular
From the
reason.
failed house of the test is almost complete.
This is where you have to
truth?
confirm that this is exactly what you want to be. If you mess up, you can say,
Where were
I
you
recreate,
born?
and it'll bring you back to here. You won't be able to edit the character at this point, but you will be able to choose different...
The heart of the order of the Imperium is. You've risen above your station. You had a mentor in your youth. Yes,
the second one.
I have heard of our system. The
And
test is
If
almost
you choose
complete.
I've spoken the truth, you kind
Come
of complete
here.
it out. So kind of to
Kneel.
recap, the things I'm not a fan of this is I have to pick a class, a starting class, for
Put your
what details I
hand in
chose,
the box.
which is pretty hard to kind of replicate your character if you want different options, if you want the same look but different options for the starting class.
I hold at your neck the gauntlet
And you,
bar.
long
The
term, you won't be able to have
high-handed
that either,
Don't
because
pull away,
you'll always
or
have to
you
do it.
will die.
What I
Great
did
plots
notice,
are
though,
afoot in the Imperium, and
saves the
currents
file
of intrigue
to your
run
Documents
deeply.
Dune Awakening folder.
Arrakis is the
If you
key.
look at these
And
and
Fremen,
edit them,
The Fremen
right
runs
here it says what it is, and this is the
You
JSON
will
file, which is
go
what's
to
actually going
Arrakis
to be
as
what
our
it pulls
agent prisoner.
to create your
You
character.
have one task.
So in theory, you should be able
Find the Fremen.
to
Wake
edit
the
any of
sleeper.
these and say, oh, I decided I wanted
Everything
a
depends
trooper
on
for
this.
this
Do
other
you
saved
understand?
character. Or a Mentat. So you should be able to just edit this and get it. Now you can edit, you know, what homeworld, what caste they are, what mentor they start with. You could, if you really get into this file, you could probably edit just about anything you wanted, or even copy and paste this out to duplicate it, kind of a thing. So you'd have each of the different ones with Mentat, Trooper, Bene Gesserit, Swordsman, what have you. Try to figure that out. But we're gonna go ahead. Everything you understand? Yes. I would definitely say back up your files before you do edit those, just in
Good.
case it does
You
break
speak
something.
truth. But
But
here's the rest of it.
it does seem pretty
There is
simple.
only
It's just, like I
one
said, it's just a JSON file. So
Keep your hand in
I'm
the
using
box.
Note++ to edit that, but I
Withdraw
believe
it
you can
and
use
die.
Notepad.
An animal would
It
know
won't look
of
quite
its
as
own
good.
hand to escape the pain. And we can only be served by humans. Find the Fremen. Wake the sleeper.
The part I also don't
You will
understand
know
about this
when it is
is
done.
the Bene Gesserit only use the hand box for the pain sorting and whatnot on women. The only time they used it on men was, to my knowledge at least, was Paul Atreides. But it's not typically used on men, so if you make a man character, I don't know why they're having you go through that process. You do get this code to put in to get this weapon back here, but it's the same code for everybody, and so you can just put it in. You don't have to go through this whole process. And if you're, the other thing that's in this is the benchmark, but I'm going to tell you about the benchmark. I've already done it for this, so it wasn't a big deal, but I would go through the settings and make sure that all these resolutions and all your settings are the way you want them before you run the benchmark, because I have a 4K monitor, so mine was shut down, I believe, to 1080p, and so I had to boost mine up to the full 4K. And then, you know, you can change all your different graphics to be what you want it to be and what you think you're going to be playing at. You probably want to bump them down if you're going to be doing more PvP kind of a thing, just to get it more realistic, or depending on your hardware. I did change the music volume down because it's really loud for these, for the recording. And then, nothing too major in here. Frame active, yeah. Okay, close that. And I'm just going to run the benchmark. A lot of you have already seen it before. It looks pretty good. I think the numbers are a lot higher than they're going to be when you're actually in the game, because you're going to have a bunch of buildings around you and what have you, and a lot of other players interacting, so it's going to probably kill a lot of your frame rate. But so far, even with my now aging 3080 Ti graphics card, it seems to push out some really good numbers at 4K even. So I'm not too worried about it. I might have to drop some of my resolution, but you saw I had everything already at ultras and what have you. So there's a little bit of tearing going on, a little bit of motion blur, nothing too major. It still looks pretty, so it looks good. It's I'm not really into the PvP myself. I'm more into the PvE, so I want the higher graphics and quality of the image. Loading up the next test. See, we're getting, you know, over 100 frames per second on average throughout the entire test, which honestly isn't bad at all for the high resolution I'm running. My monitor is the ARC 55-inch, the Samsung ARC 55-inch 4K curved monitor, so it's a bit of a beast for any graphics card to push out high resolution too, so that's probably why I'm getting a little bit lower numbers than some of you might be getting for this. This looks like one of those trading areas that you can go to. And here's kind of my numbers. My averages are pretty good in the 120s and above. My mins are, you know, right around the 100 mark. It's just a little bit below it in the village, but nothing too bad. Like I said, I am running a 3080 Ti, a decent 12th gen i7. My resolution is up. I've got lots of RAM in mine, so yours might vary. Close that out, and I think we'll kind of end it there. Thank you very much for watching.